Hi Sagittarius, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your June 2023 tarot reading. Thanks to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. Those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, it's a Celtic crossfit as always, and also pulled the 4 agreements, Wisdom, Oracle, and Mudra card for you guys. I'm actually going to start the reading off by rolling those astrology dice we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus should be as far as that goes. Alright, so we have Aquarius, and Aquarius energy for you guys is actually your third house of communication, short journeys, and siblings. Astrologically speaking, Pluto being there for a little bit, and then it's actually going to backtrack into Capricorn, but aside from that, it's a little quiet in Aquarius. All right, we have 5 and 5th house energy for you guys is Aries. Jupiter pretty much just moved out of there, so we still have Chiron there, but 5th house is a little quiet for you guys as well. And we have the Sun. So the Sun is going to be in your opposite sign of Gemini for the first few weeks of June, and then it'll move into Cancer, which is your 8th house of death, rebirth, intimacy, and investments. All right, so with all that out of the way, we'll get started with the main spread. In the main situation position, we have the World, and challenging that, we have the Ace of Wands. So seeing these two energies here, I feel like what this is saying is you guys might have gone through a cycle of completion, or you will, in the month of June. And usually these are significant karmic completions, so I don't feel like this is just your run-of-the-mill type of thing. So for example, given the time of year it's going to be in, for some of you it could be as simple as maybe some of you are graduating, right? And with this Ace of Wands energy coming up in a challenging position, it could just be one of those things where like, okay, I've learned this lesson, I've completed this thing, what's next, right? So you could have on your mind like, okay, now I've completed this big thing, what should I do from here on out? Right, in the foundation position, we have the 9 of Wands. So this is actually a Sagittarius card here, represents the middle 10 degrees, which is actually where that full moon is going to be taking place in your sign this month too. But yeah, this could just be saying that maybe you're feeling a little bit guarded, right? So whatever the cycle of completion is that you went through, might have been difficult to get there, right? So it could just be one of those things where like, all right, yes, I'm aware that I've achieved that goal, but what's next, right? So there could be a little bit of fear around what's to come from this point on for some of you. All right, in the past position, we have the Star, and this is actually Aquarius energy, and we did see that come up in the dice as well. So for some of you, you might have found that you maybe learned some significant lessons when it came to communication, possibly while we had Saturn moving through Aquarius for the past couple of years before it moved into Pisces. So, and then in general, could just be saying that you might have gone through some kind of a tower moment, given that this is the card that comes after the tower, that actually helped realign you in some way. And then that could be pointing to where that completion from the World card is coming from. All right. In the present position, we have the 4 of Pentacles. So this is Capricorn energy here. So it could just be saying that you might be holding on to things right now. So again, like I said, if you've gone through some cycle of completion, right? So like I said, maybe you graduated. So you're like, okay, I've graduated, but now I have to go get a job, right? So okay, let me be a little bit cautious when it comes to spending my resources until I have something secured, right? Or if you've gone for some kind of a certification for a job that you've been looking for, right? Same concept. We're like, okay, I've completed this thing that I needed in order to get to the next level. But in the meantime, until I have that firmly in my grasp, let me make sure I'm being cautious with how I'm spending right now. Now, spending could be your physical money, right? Or also just other resources, including things like your time and energy, too. All right, in the near future position, we have the 9 of Pentacles. So to me, this shows that you actually might find a position that actually gives you a fair amount of freedom, right? And a fair amount of compensation too. And that could be what you're looking for, or possibly even weighing options as far as that goes too, given that this is a Virgo energy, which is your house of career. So we see they have the one hand on the 6 Pentacles, which 6 of Pentacles usually points to partnership And then we see the three pentacles behind them, along with that bird as well, which to me could represent more freedom, right? So it could just be one of those things where, okay, either you go, like, let's say, you get a job with a corporation, right? So, like, okay, I know that they're tried and true, right? I know that they're going to be around for a while, the pay will be consistent. Or you could do something on your own, right? A more entrepreneur type route, but you're like, okay, I might not have as much money to begin with, but I'll have more freedom, right? So those could be the options you guys might find yourselves weighing in the near future. All right, the position of your influence in the situation, we have the High Priestess. So to me, this says that you're really trying to tap into your intuition and figure out what the next best step should be, given your situation. And given that there's going to be that full moon in your sign, like we mentioned a little earlier, that might be the perfect time to do so, right? Because that's going to be a powerful energy for you guys in that regard. And then, given that we're still clearing out the eclipse energies, the Mercury retrograde post shadow energies, it could just be one of those things where the time's going to be better to see things more clearly and make moves based on that. All right, in the environment position, we have the Hermit. So yeah, given that they're more or less shining that light right on the cards here, it could just be, again, pointing to you're really spending some time this month trying to figure out what route you want to go as far as career, right? So like I said, it looks like you might have wrapped up one thing, whether it was graduating, or maybe even you had this other job that you did, but it wrapped up, right, successfully. And I don't feel like it's a matter of you guys being let go from the job, but just whatever it was, you might have wrapped it up, and now it's on to the next thing. So you could be trying to figure out what your next step should be around the situation. All right. In hopes or fears position, we have the Fool. So yeah, for some of you, you could be hoping more for the freedom, right? So it could just be one of those things where, like I said, you might realize the freedom would be ideal on the one hand, but might not be as secure on a financial level as if you go to tried and true route of signing with a corporation or something along those lines. So that could be the options you're weighing, but it looks like this is saying that you would prefer the route with more freedom. And if we see there too, you might even take a more minimalist approach, right, and say that you'd be fine with not having everything that comes with it. Because if we look there, obviously they pack lightly, right? So it could just be one of those things where, like, yeah, you know what? I think I might prefer to go with a little bit less, but have more freedom versus maybe secure more in a traditional sense, but not have the freedom that I would like. All right. In the outcome position, we have the Wheel of Fortune. So this is actually Jupiter energy, and Jupiter is actually your ruler. And now that it's in Taurus, could just be pointing to, for you guys, that's your sixth house of work, daily routines, health. So it could just be one of those things that says, okay, well, now the timing is just right for you to actually see more opportunities come your way. So you will have multiple options to choose from if this is around the financial situation where you're trying to secure a job, right? So seems like a pretty positive energy in that regard for sure. And given that you guys are ruled by Jupiter, you might feel the shifts of that planet more than most other signs. So that could be pointing to that too, saying that, okay, maybe, especially given that we saw 5 come up in your dice, maybe you had more of a focus on romance, creativity, things along those lines as it was moving through Aries, but now it moves into Taurus here. Going to be more focused on settling down with work and focusing on finances. All right, the bottom of the deck, you have the 10 of Cups. So at the very least, this could just be saying that there could be a lot of peace in your home environment. And if not, that could just be saying that you're going to have some options available to you that would give you that balance of, like I said, the freedom, but also the success and sustainability. So be on the lookout for that this month. All right, moving on to your 4 agreements card, we have Don't Make Assumptions, and it says Assume Nothing. All right, it says in any kind of relationship, we can make the assumption that others know what we think, and we don't have to say what we want. We assume they are going to do what we want because they know us so well. If they don't do what we want, we feel hurt and think, how could you do that? You should know. So yeah, interesting message there as far as it says in any kind of relationship. So of course that doesn't necessarily mean just romance, right? And we're going to have a lot of energy in your 7th house, which will point to partnerships and relationships. So good message to keep in mind there. Hopefully that resonated. All right, and moving on to your Wisdom Oracle card, we have Not For You. There's the artwork, and the number is 6. So we'll see what this has to say. Okay, essential meanings. It says a clear knowing that something is being denied you. Rejection is God's protection. The Oracle's message. There are times when it appears that no matter how deeply you desire something, no matter how hard you work at something, the result you seek always seems to elude you. It is as if you don't really get to be in the game and you feel like you're just watching from the sidelines. The appearance of this card indicates that you're not going to attain what you want right now, that indeed your dreams for that exact thing will not be fulfilled. This is a time to radically accept that not everything is available to you when you want it. Take heart, for there are benevolent forces who desire the best for you and have a much clearer idea of what is for your highest good. Rejection is God's protection. Something much better that will make you truly happy is on its way. Trust this. So, interesting message there, because that made me think of what I was saying as far as your desire for, it seems like you'd have the desire for more freedom versus security, right? So it could just be one of those things where you might have something that comes along initially that seems to offer more to security, but would be lacking majorly in the freedom, right? And it could just be saying that as time goes along, especially with the Wheel of Fortune moving into Taurus now, it could just be saying that you'll have more opportunities come your way and you might actually find one that's a much better fit as far as giving you the balance of the freedom and the security. All right, the relationship message says some relationships carry an innate seed of failure in them that is obvious from the beginning, but the red flags escape your observation or you refuse to acknowledge them. When a relationship is not meant to be, it is not possible to make it be. Rejection is a sign that you're being protected by the divine. If you are the one who must reject another, remember that you do so for both your sakes. For every pot there is a lid, this one may not be the best fit. Definitely an interesting message there. I will say you probably picked up on it as we were going through the spread as well. This really didn't seem like it was related to a romantic connection. But for those of you looking for insight on that, hopefully that resonated. In worst case, I do have the mid-May readings out already, and the mid-June ones will be out in a few weeks. All right. The prosperity message says you can strategize and project and systemize and invest all your time and energy, but sometimes your best laid plans seem to go awry in spite of it all. Keep in mind that no effort is wasted. Fail fast and learn from defeat. Then keep going. You will eventually succeed, although perhaps not at this game, not at this time. Know when to fold your cards. So yeah, interesting message there too. I don't really see much of an energy of failure through the main spread. So, I mean, maybe this will be the case for some of you, or maybe this is something that you've already experienced with that Nine of Wands in the foundation position and what we were talking about with the Star card. For the most part, it looks like the energy is clearing in a more positive way, but I'm sure this will resonate with at least some of you. All right, and lastly, we have a Mudra for you guys. This is your Mudra here. It's the Granthita Mudra, and the keyword for it is redemption. All right, and there's the info on it. If you want to pause it or take a screenshot to read what it has to say. But under benefits, it says prepares the mind for meditation, opens Vishuddha chakra, benefits the voice, improves thyroid function, increases the body's self-healing capacity, especially in cases of cancer. So if that sounds like a Mudra thing to be beneficial for you guys, hope that the name of the description video. As always, we'll wrap up there, and I'll see you guys next month. All right, bye.